You know, it's a funny thing. So many people say they want to start a business, but most never actually do. And the ones who do try, so often they waste years on an idea. Well, today, we are going to fix that. We're going to break down exactly how to find a business idea that isn't just a passion project, but a real, viable, successful venture. I'm talking a clear, step-by-step roadmap. So, let's dive in.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to look at the big mistakes, the common traps that sink most ideas before they even get a chance to float. Then, we're jumping into 3 really powerful frameworks. We'll find an idea that's a perfect fit for you, figure out how to make it totally unique, and then, finally, put it all onto a simple one-page plan to make it real.
Okay, let's get right to the heart of the problem. The very first hurdle, it's the idea itself. See, most aspiring entrepreneurs fall into one of 2 classic traps. They either chase a hot trend, trying to make a quick buck in a field they know nothing about, or they go the other way and they follow a passion into a market that, well, just isn't there. Either way, it's a recipe for disaster.
And this lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the trend chaser. Hey, AI is hot. I'm going to start an AI company with absolutely zero experience. That is a fast track right off a cliff. And on the other side, you've got the pure passion project, like trying to turn poetry into a business for an empty market. The key thing to get here, the big takeaway, is that a great business idea isn't born from just passion or just profit. It's found right at the intersection of both.
So, the big question is, how do you actually avoid those traps? Well, it starts by looking inward. And for that, we're going to borrow a really powerful concept from Japan called ikigai. Think of it as a framework for finding that perfect sweet spot, that overlap between you, your skills, and what the world is actually willing to pay for.
Yeah, ikigai. It literally translates to a reason for being. But for what we're doing here, it's basically a formula. It's how you find a business idea that you don't just start, but when you can actually stick with for the long haul, because it's so deeply connected to who you are.
All right, so for building a business, we're going to boil ikigai down to 3 core questions you have to ask yourself. First up, what are you actually genuinely good at? I'm talking your natural talents and skills. Building on your strengths is like having home field advantage. Second, what do you love doing? I mean, you're going to be pouring long nights and weekends into this. If you don't love it, you will burn out. That passion is your fuel. And finally, number 3, the all-important reality check. What can you actually get paid for? This right here is what separates a business from just a hobby. And where those 3 circles overlap, that, my friends, is your sweet spot.
Okay, so let's say you found your ikigai idea. It fits you perfectly. Awesome. But now, a new monster appears. Competition. The truth is, most businesses don't fail because the idea was bad. They fail because they get completely drowned out by everybody else. And the big insight here, the real game changer, is that the best way to win isn't to compete harder, it's to avoid competing altogether. And that brings us to our second framework, the blue ocean strategy.
I love this analogy. It is so powerful. Most companies are swimming in what's called a red ocean. Just picture it. A bunch of sharks fighting over the same few fish, turning the water red. That's your typical crowded market. Everyone's competing on price, copying each other's features. It's a bloodbath. But the alternative? That's the blue ocean. It's wide open, crystal clear, uncontested water where you've created your own space, making the competition honestly just irrelevant.
And the perfect example of this is Cirque du Soleil. Think about it. Back in the day, the circus industry was a classic red ocean. It was dying. Every circus had the same animal acts, the same clowns. So what did Cirque du Soleil do? They didn't try to build a better circus. No way. They got rid of the expensive animal acts, they cut way back on the silly clown stuff, and instead, they raised the artistry and the storytelling to a whole new level. They created a brand new market, a blend of circus and theater, and attracted a whole new audience that was happy to pay premium prices for it.
So how do you find your blue ocean? You use this exact framework. Looking at your industry, you ask yourself 4 simple questions. What can you eliminate completely that everyone else just takes for granted? What can you reduce way below the industry standard because customers don't really care about it? What can you raise to a whole new level of quality or service? And finally, what can you create that the industry has literally never seen before? Answering these 4 questions is how you transform a copycat idea into a category of one.
Okay, so you have an idea that fits you and a strategy to make it unique. We are on a roll. But now for the brass tacks. How is this thing actually going to work? How will it make money and reach customers? You need a practical plan, and that's where our final framework comes in, the lean canvas.
And I want you to just forget those 50-page business plans full of boring spreadsheets that nobody ever reads. The lean canvas is the exact opposite. It's a simple, one-page tool designed to force you to get brutally honest and super clear about the 9 elements that truly matter for any new business. It's all about clarity, not complexity.
So let's break this down, starting with the product section. First and most importantly, you have to define the problem. If you're not solving a real, painful problem for someone, you don't have a business. Next, your solution. Describe it simply. Dropbox wasn't a cloud-based file hosting service. No, it was a folder you can access from anywhere. See the difference? And finally, your unique value proposition. This is your one-sentence promise that makes you the winner.
Next up is your market. Who are your customers? And you need to be specific. Don't say everyone. Facebook started only with Harvard students. Next, your channels. How are you actually going to reach these people? And then crucially, what's your unfair advantage? This is your secret sauce, your castle's moat. It's what makes you hard to copy. And here's a pro tip. Your unfair advantage should come directly from your blue ocean strategy.
And finally, the money. How will you get paid? That's your revenue streams. What will it cost you to run the business? That's your cost structure. And what are the key metrics? The 1 or 2 numbers that truly tell you if your business is succeeding or failing. If you don't know these, you're just flying blind.
So we've covered a lot of ground, right? We've talked about how to find an idea that's right for you, how to make it stand out from the competition, and how to turn that rough concept into an actual functional plan. So let's put it all together into a clear, actionable path.
It really all boils down to this simple 3-step process. Step 1, start with Ikigai to find the idea that aligns with your strengths and passions in a real market. Step 2, use the blue ocean strategy to carve out a unique space where you don't have to compete. And finally, step 3, fill out the lean canvas to create a clear, one-page blueprint for success.
We've given you the tools. We've laid out the roadmap. You now have more clarity than 99% of people who just dream about starting a business. The only question left is the one right there on the screen. You have the frameworks. So, what will you build?